Ashley Jones is the Executive Director of Human Resources at the Platte County School District, a role that puts her in the center of one of education's biggest challenges: finding, supporting, and keeping great educators. From teachers to bus drivers, counselors to custodians, Ashley's job is to build teams that make schools work. This is Queued Up, where we amplify the voices of educators with the science, soul, and story shaping education. You know, we go back a long way.
Yes, we do.
I was trying to think about that,
Probably 2010.
yeah, when I had littles and you didn't have any kids. So it's been a while. Yeah.
Yes.
It's always fun when you get to connect with people throughout your profession. And you've held many roles actually now since I think when I was with you and we worked together, you were in HR.
Correct.
What was your title there?
So I was the Director of Human Resources in the Smithville School District. And then I spent time in Joplin schools and Carthage schools. I did a couple of tours in the Smithville School District, and now I'm the Executive Director of Human Resources in the Platte County School District.
So you've got to see a lot of different size schools in the Missouri side. And do you see big differences in that?
You know, we all are operating in the same way. We all have similar successes and some challenges. It just is a matter of quantity, really. Depending on the size of the school district.
Do you think that the size of the district contributes at all to the vacancies that we're seeing?
I think that it may depend a little bit, not necessarily the size. I think location has a factor. And so potentially the more rural school districts have some greater challenges. I think that location and proximity to modern conveniences and things like that have a huge impact on bringing people to the community who maybe don't reside in the community.
Very true. Now, you did a small stint in collegiate area, right?
I did. I spent some time at Metropolitan Community College serving in their human resources department in higher education. And it too is a great place to be. I think that regardless of where you're working, if you have a passion for supporting others, finding ways to invest in while also balancing the needs of an organization, you're going to enjoy every day.
For sure. Thinking about all the different roles you've had and trying to meet the needs, have the challenges changed over the year, or are they still basically the same premise, the same problems, just packaged differently?
Yeah, I think that in my time in human resources, I think that we've seen a lot of changes just in society. And I think that in turn has an impact on the work environment and human beings. I mean, we had a pandemic during that time. And so I think that, change is going to be something that we have to be willing to just be flexible and adaptable. And I think that we are in a time of change. When I first started working in public education in the area of human resources, I remember that we would host one substitute orientation a year. And it was at the beginning of the school year, and we would onboard all of our new substitutes. And then we would receive calls from substitutes who were on our active roster because they weren't getting jobs. They weren't getting enough jobs. What a different time we are in now, where we can't onboard substitutes fast enough, and we have unfilled vacancies almost every single day. And so that's just one very small example, just in terms of how the times have changed. And even from our applicant pool for certified teaching positions, working in a smaller district at the time, having over 100 applicants for an elementary teaching position. And now, we don't even get there, and we're posting so much earlier than we were before. So yeah, there's definitely a change just in terms of availability and the pool of high qualified applicants. And I think that just within higher education, we've also seen, lower numbers in terms of individuals interested in working in public education. And so I think that one thing I love so much about this organization, MOASPA, is I believe that we have in the state of Missouri a group of individuals within this association, but then really leaders all throughout the state of Missouri who are really trying to flip the script and really showcase how incredible it is to be in public education, supporting our students, our educators, our support staff members, and quite frankly, the impact it has on the overall community. And so I'm really, really blessed to be part of that. I just hope that that we can accomplish that, so that we have a future generation of educators who is committed and as passionate about growing and developing youth as my parents who are retired educators were, and the generations before that.
I know it was disheartening. I was at a conference recently and was speaking to a university. And when universities have speech language pathology programs, it used to be a really hard department to get into. I mean, they took the highest people and they only had so many slots. And I was talking to this university and they only had 3 participants that following year for their program. And they said they were going to have to cut the program. And so you take that's speech pathology, and then you say special education teachers, and then your STEM teachers, and it just keeps rippling out.
Yeah.
I just keep wondering, what are we going to do to draw more people to the field?
Right.
Is your district doing anything specifically to get the positivity out, to get that word out that this is the place to be, you ought to become a teacher, this is a good thing?
Yes, I think that the district that I'm in does a really nice job from a public relations and communication perspective, just sharing the great things that are happening in our schools every single day, and then also celebrating our extraordinary educators. We have a new strategic plan, and the leadership team, which was made up of community members, students, staff, district leaders, and we're very intentional about the term extraordinary educators, and it not just being about teachers who are leading in the classroom, but every employee in the district, regardless of the capacity, has the ability to have an impact on children. And so we are all extraordinary educators. And so I'm really excited about that. It seems very small, but I think it's going to allow just an opportunity for us to celebrate at an entirely different level.
Mm-hmm.
Before we continue, this episode is sponsored by Q360 Workforce Solutions. If you're a leader listening, you already know the problem. Q360 helps districts get ahead of the staffing and support gaps. This isn't about looking good on paper, it's about keeping schools steady. All right, back to the conversation.
Do you guys use social media to promote those things?
We do. So our district is on social media from Facebook, X, Instagram, and then we also have a district LinkedIn page. And so we try to highlight the great things happening in our schools and in our community every single day. Our community is very fortunate. Just yesterday, we had 2 groundbreaking ceremonies for the Northland Workforce Development Center, which will be located in our school district boundaries, but will serve the entire Northland and Kansas City. And, it's just going to have a tremendous impact on the workforce, development, adult learners for generations to come. And so that was something that we celebrated with tons of community members, state politicians. Our commissioner of education, our former governor, was there as well. And it was just beautiful because We got to see so many different people from the community and even across the state come together to celebrate something that is going to have such a significant impact on learners from secondary all the way post-secondary, because adult learners will have opportunities there as well.
That's great. Now, is that an expansion of the vocational program, or is it tied to that?
So whenever the Workforce Development Center opens, Northland Career Center will become that.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're building a building, or is it just to use an existing space?
Yep, it will be a brand new
wow.
facility. Yeah, and the state of Missouri invested dollars into it, and it was a capital campaign for the remainder. The city of Kansas City made a significant investment, and then many other donors. So
That is
very
great.
exciting.
And I love that we're giving students access to a variety of opportunities, because one size doesn't fit all. And so I like that. What are some of the programs that are in that?
So our teaching professions program,
That's what I was getting
it's
to.
part of that. And I think that that's really where I was trying to go with all of this, in terms of some of the things that we're trying to do within our district to help flip the script, and also to promote public education to those seeking out opportunities for their future, is our programs and real world learning opportunities that are available throughout our school district. But at Northland Career Center, we have a teaching professions program.
Okay.
And so it's not just Platte County School District students. There are sending schools also send students to participate in that program. It's led by our wonderful instructor, Lacey Middleton, and she's done a phenomenal job over the course of the past couple of years, just continuing to build the program. And our enrollment continues to increase, which
That's
is
great.
yes.
You don't hear that much anymore in the education field, that enrollment's increasing.
So that is so exciting for us. And the students, it's a 2-year program, so they have the opportunity to learn from our extraordinary educators in classrooms throughout our district. And the hands-on real-world experiences are incredible. And just yesterday at the groundbreaking ceremony, one of our teaching professions graduates from last year was there to celebrate with us.
Awesome.
And so it was so amazing to see her as she is, working to become a certified educator.
Yeah.
And so some of the things that we were able to do last year is with some grant funds that were available through Grow Your Own, we invested in those students. And so they exited with an IRC, an industry recognized credential. So their substitute certification, or having completed the paraprofessional assessment, so they can literally step out of high school once they graduate and have a certification that allows them to be employed, whether that is as a substitute teacher or as a paraprofessional in a school district. And so we were super excited about having that opportunity. And so we're hopeful that that's something that we'll be able to continue this year and in future years.
And that is exciting, thinking about, like I mentioned, that university that was struggling to even keep their program alive, and you guys have figured out a way, and I know it's more than just your district, just multiple districts, but figured out a way to inspire students to get into the program and then hopefully carry that out. That has to be making an impact in a positive way. I would love to know numbers. I'm sure that the numbers probably aren't just in the top of your head, but
that's right.
Just to see how many students are taking that information and that knowledge and those credentials and walking into schools that following year. I would love to know that information.
I don't have the data off the top of my head, but that is definitely something that we are tracking, because we want to make investments in our youth as much as possible. And in addition to investing in them, we've also been able to invest in our certified staff members who help support and mentor them by inviting them into their classrooms. And so while we weren't able to do something for everyone, we were able to celebrate a few last year and provide some special recognition for them and the time that they're investing in the next generation of educators, because it truly is all of us working together to ensure that we have the best people in our classrooms for our kids every single day.
I think Platte County does a nice job of getting their teachers excited about what they're doing. And then I think there is a younger generation that uses social media better than others. So maybe there's a generation that is just as excited but doesn't use social media as much. But you actually have a particular teacher that I'm happen to be connected with on social media. And the positivity that she exudes, it makes me, from a teacher perspective, it makes me want to be a part of that. So I'm sure that contributes to the good culture in your schools and all of that, having people be positive and post positively and things like that. So you guys are doing something great.
Well, I love hearing that, and thank you for sharing. I truly believe that when we work together, we can accomplish so much. And, a lot of times, the perception of human resources specifically is like compliance, hiring, to retiring, and some of the challenges that may happen in between. But it's so much more than that. And I think that if we, with a focus on our people and collaboration and positive interactions and listening and supporting one another, like, we can accomplish so much for our kids.
Yeah.
And so we really, truly are better together. And so I'm hopeful that is something that is the experience of so many in our school district. And I'm proud to be a Platte County Pirate. We have a lot of great things happening.
Yeah, that's great. My whole goal in everything that we do when we get together and have conversations is just to amplify the voice of educators. And hearing what you're talking about just gets me excited that we are still doing things that are bringing people to the field, that are going to bring good quality educators, and then that impacts students. And it's all about, bottom line, making sure that our students have the best opportunity as possible. And I feel like we're having to think outside the box quite a bit. That's okay, because we're educators and we know how to problem solve. So thinking outside the box is something that we do. But you've been in multiple districts now. Have you seen any outside the box thinking to help fill the void or the holes in the different? We've got para openings, we have teacher openings, we have lunchroom aid opening. There's openings everywhere. What are you seeing that's a little more outside the box?
Yeah, I think that it is truly about an investment in people. And when I say investment, I'm not just talking about dollars. I think in professional development and well-being. So, like, looking at employee benefits, it is truly an investment in people. And I think that whenever we do that well, that it's going to have a positive impact, and people will want to be part of the great things that are happening. But again, it's really about caring for one another, regardless of what capacity you're in. I think that is really what it's all about.
Sometimes I sound like a broken record because I say the same things, but everything that we do that's related to education, if it's relational, we'll be all right. If it's transactional, we're going to have a problem. And that's what I hear you saying, is that you're investing in the people, you're investing time, you're listening, you're pouring into ideas that will grow people into new things. And I just hear that threaded throughout as relational. It's very intentionally relational.
Yes, we are in the relationship business. Truly, we are.
Yeah, exactly. Is there something that I'm thinking about, like the conversations that you have with staff members? You're coming face to face with educators that are sometimes facing extreme challenges, whether that's in the classroom because they don't have enough staff, or maybe it's, financial, a burden. What pushes you, motivates you every day by the interactions that you have?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that, one, we're here for the kids. And so our students are something that are always at the forefront of my mind. And then I care deeply about people. And so the people, just in general, like wanting to be a good partner in education, whether you're a teacher, you're an administrator, you are a custodian or an administrative assistant, like that doesn't matter.
Right.
Just being a good partner and advocate while also being mindful of our organizational goals and needs.
Right. And I always like to focus in on the fact that the title doesn't matter. It's showing up every single day and doing whatever your role is, doing it to your best of your abilities, because each person in education impact the education of a child, whether they recognize it or not. But you mentioned custodians, you mentioned
Right.
the different roles. The lunch lady, how many times does the lunch lady impact the child's education? So when we are in the human resources field, it's about making sure everybody understands that their role is valuable, it's worthwhile, and as a human that we want to listen and hear their voice and bring their conversation to the table so we can connect with them,
Absolutely.
because it's going to impact kids in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love what you said in terms of like hearing the voice. Like that is so true. Everyone does have a voice. And so ensuring that there are avenues where people feel as though they have the opportunity to share and be heard is very, very important. And so you mentioned like in the trenches. So the first 2 days of school, I had the opportunity to be at one of our elementary schools, and it is so great. And I think that probably the first and second day of school may be my two most favorite days of school because I am in a building. And what is so amazing to me and what I would love to celebrate with everyone is you truly do see a school community come together and everyone supporting one another. You mentioned like titles not mattering. That is so true. Just seeing everyone work together, like a school operating at a high level is such a beautiful thing. And it does. It takes everyone. And sometimes it takes someone working outside of their scope. But when that happens, like everyone rises to the occasion, steps up,
Absolutely.
does the right thing. And in the end, the kids have a tremendous, wonderful experience. And then they want to be back the next day, which
Yeah. And
is
that's
our
what
goal.
it's all about.
It is.
You know, I recently was in a school district and I got to go inside the building, and I got there right at arrival time. And I was so impressed with this school and the people in it. As every kid came off the bus, they met adult after adult who was pouring into them. I
Yes.
mean, there were high fives, there were fist pumps, there was, celebrating their outfit. There was, glad you're here, you're smiling. And as I continued to walk into that building, it just continued. And I was like, what a great
Yeah.
place for kids to come and feel this.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what you're talking about is that everybody, it doesn't matter who you are, you're all a part of this positive thing that's happening.
Right. And to see the adults come together and to do that for kids every single day. And on those days, it wasn't just school employees. It was members of the PTA who were there to help support.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful.
Everybody.
Yep. It's about community.
Over your career, have you had any advice that anybody has given you that you've been like, okay, thank God they told me that?
Oh my goodness. So much. Without exceptional mentors, like I'm not for sure I would be where I am today. And so I've had some phenomenal mentors, some who are here at this conference today, and then others that, I have had the opportunity to work with, some in multiple school districts. And so there's so much,
Yeah.
truly so much.
Well, have you given advice? What would you say to your young self heading into HRs?
Oh
or
my
anything?
goodness. Maybe expect the unexpected. I'm a Big Brother fan too. So every day is different and we can't solve everything all at one time. And so sometimes it's okay to move slow to ensure that you have total understanding, all of the facts before moving forward too fast.
I think that's excellent advice. And if you think about probably, I'm going to make some assumptions here, but people that go into the HR field are very caring people who want to help people. And so I think that probably moving slow is difficult. It's probably a learned thing that you have to do because you want to solve the problem as quickly as possible because you care.
Yes.
But moving slow is, I think those are words of wisdom.
Yeah. And then also, I think that truly when we work together, so much can be accomplished. And so, not being afraid to ask or seek support. I think, regardless of what capacity someone works in, like, it's okay to say, I don't know,
Yes.
or I'm going to have to get back to you, or I'm sorry, I'm like at capacity. Is that something that you could possibly help me with? So
Why are we so afraid to do that?
I don't know, but it is hard.
It is.
It is so hard. But I think that that would be one piece of advice, like someone new coming into the field, like, don't be afraid to ask or to say, I don't know. It seems so simple, but sometimes those are two very difficult things to do.
Absolutely. And I think ultimately in education, we realize we have a student, a scholar's future in our hands, and we want to perform at our highest level all the time. And although I think that's a good goal, sometimes it's lofty because we do need to say, I'm at capacity.
Right.
I love that phrase.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to have to try that. I'm at capacity. Yeah.
You do that.
Ooh, it's a tough one. I'm
It is.
still trying to learn, and I'm on the last half of my career, and I'm still trying to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
And say, hey, you're gonna get better results out of me if I pause on this. It's difficult. So I wish I could go back and tell myself that from the beginning of my career.
It takes time.
Yeah.
It does. Sometimes it takes lessons learned that help a person to get there. Or I remember whenever I first started working after college, not in public education, but in a role where I had the opportunity to support educators and those who support educators. I'll never forget a supervisor at that time who was near retirement said the one regret she had was not taking time away to reset. And I think for me, that has been a challenge my entire career. But I hear her. Her name is Patty. I hear Patty. And it's so true. Sometimes you just have to take time away and it will be there tomorrow or the next day or the next
It always
day.
is waiting for you when you come back.
Yeah. And so I think that that's something too important as leaders is we have to model that
Yes.
balance. And it's not always easy, but I think that modeling that balance is so important because we have to be well for our kids to be well and succeed.
Absolutely.
And so I think that that is something that is very important and may also be some advice I would share with someone new to the field.
Well, and when we are sitting on the airplane and we're getting ready to take off, they always talk about put the mask on yourself first and then put it on somebody that's next to you that needs help. And I try to live that out in my life because you're right. If we don't take that time to pause or reset and take care of ourselves, we're not good for students.
Right.
And when we're not good for students, it's very impactful in their lives. I have so enjoyed catching up with you again today and
Thank
seeing where
you.
you've been. And I really enjoyed watching your journey. And you did something in my mind that was scary. You left Kansas City and went somewhere else and did things for a while. So I just appreciate you coming in and sharing your experience and taking the time with us today. Any last words of advice that you can think of you want to throw out there?
Yeah. So I just, again, want to thank you for the opportunity. And I think that public education is the best space. And so I just would love to encourage anyone who may be considering whether it's just starting out or a different opportunity, this is an amazing space and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Yeah.
And so anyhow, thank you so much.
Yeah.
This was fun.
And that's why I'm so excited because I think we've got to get that word out. We have to convince people that education is still an amazing space.
Yeah.
It's still a good place to be. Just take time for yourself and don't move so fast. And
There you are. That sums it up.
yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And that's it for us.
Thanks for listening to Queued Up. Follow and subscribe to stay queued up for what's next.